Good day everyone, my name is Sir Andigit and I am going to discuss about strategies and action plan or activities. The previous speakers tackled about vision, mission, goals, and objectives, and the next process of the VMGOSA framework is developing strategies. Strategy is a plan of action to achieve short, middle, and long-term desired goals. It explains how the initiative will reach its objectives. So if we already establish a clear vision and mission of our company and have a well-defined goals and objectives, then we need to strategize in order to achieve the things or outcome that we want to achieve. So, papaano ba natin ma-achieve yung mga goals na sinet natin? Siyempre, hindi pwedeng wala tayong strategy. Kailangan natin to para ma-reach yung goal natin. Kailangan nating mag-isip ng different ways or different strategies kung paano natin ma-achieve yung sinet natin na goals and objectives at syempre para mabigyan ng justice yung mission and vision natin. And that is the purpose of strategy. There are generally three types of strategies in business. The first one is the corporate strategy. It defines the strategic goals of the overall company and it involves the upper level of an organization. So, ito yung mga strategies with regards sa growth, stability, or even renewal of a company. So, for growth, ito yung mga strategies na gagawin natin kung may mga plan tayo mag-expand ng business or company natin or pwede rin yung strategies kung paano may increase yung profit natin. For stability naman, ito yung mga strategies para ma-maintain yung current business operations natin. And for renewal, for example, nagsasuffer yung business natin sa loss. Siyempre, mag-iisip tayo ng strategies na gagawin natin para ma-revive yung business natin. The next one is business strategy. It establishes the strategic goals for a business unit. It is a set of plans, actions, and goals that outlines how a business will compete in a market. A business strategy defines what company needs to do to reach its goals, which can help guide the decision-making process for hiring as well as for resource allocation. So, makakatulong itong business strategy sa different departments ng isang company or business para ma-ensure na yung mga departmental decisions are in line and it supports the overall direction of the company. Some of the example of business strategy is yung product differentiation and pricing strategies. Aside from that is yung mga decisions or strategies on how a market will compete in a market. How a business will compete in a market. And the third one is the functional strategy. Ito naman yung approach na ginagamit para ma-achieve yung corporate and business unit objectives and strategies by means of maximizing resource productivity. So, ito yung mga strategies for different functions of a company like marketing, finance, technology, and operations. So, that's the three types of strategies in business, which is again corporate strategy, business strategy, and functional strategy. So generally, organizations will have a wide variety of strategies that include people from all different parts or sectors of the community. These strategies range from broad to specific. Kapag broad strategies, involved dito yung mga resources and people from many different parts of the community, while the specific one naman aims at carefully defined areas. So these are the example of broad strategies. First, a child health program might use social marketing to promote adult involvement with children. So the strategy here is the use of social marketing. And the reason kung bakit broad ito is because there are different ways or types of social marketing. So, alin dun sa mga social marketing na yon yung gagamitin nila in order to promote adult involvement with children. Aside from that, kagaya nga ng description ng broad strategy, involved dito yung mga tao from many different parts of the community. So, pag sinabing child health program, hindi lang naman children ang involved dyan, pati na rin syempre yung mga guardian or adult kasi nga ang strategy nila is to promote adult involvement with children. Next example is an adolescent pregnancy initiatives might decide to increase access to contraceptives in the community. And an urban revitalization project might enhance the artistic life of the community by encouraging artists to perform in the area. So these three are example of broad strategies because it involves people and resources from many different parts of the community. So 5 types of specific strategies can help guide most interventions. First is providing information and enhancing skills. So, yung specific strategies daw provides information and enhances skills. So, for example, if there is a conflict in management in your business, then you can offer seminars and skills training in order to avoid such conflict or problem. We all know naman that seminars provide information and sa pamamagitan ng skills training, may enhance or may improve ang skills ng mga employees at makakatulong ito para ma-handle nila ng maayos yung mga possible problems or conflicts na maaari nilang ma-encounter. Next is enhancing services and support. Example naman ito yung pag-offer ng mentoring program sa mga high-risk youth. So makakatulong naman ito sa mga kabataan. Then the third one is modify access, barriers, and opportunities. Example is yung pag-offer ng scholarship sa mga students who cannot afford to attend school due to financial problems or para sa mga students na hindi kayang pag-aralin ng mga magulang nila. So through scholarship, magkakaroon ng opportunity and better access yung mga students sa education. And we all know naman na napakalaking tulong ng scholarship para sa mga students. Then the next one is to change the consequences of efforts. Ang example naman nito ay yung pag-provide ng incentive sa mga community members para mag-volunteer. So through incentives, mamomotivate sila na mag-volunteer. And the last one is modify policies. For instance, is to change the business policies to allow parents and guardians to spend more time with young children. So again, specific strategies provide information and enhance skills, enhance services and support, modify access, barriers, and opportunities, change the consequences of efforts, and modify policies. So after nating ma-set yung mga strategies natin, the last step in the VMGOSA framework is to create an action plan. In the action plan, we will be able to know what changes will happen, who will do what, and when to make it happen. It describes in detail kung papaano natin i-implement yung mga strategies natin para ma-achieve yung mga goals and objectives natin. It refers to specific changes to be sought and the specific action steps necessary to bring about changes in all of the relevant sector or parts of the community. According to Neron Paul, the action plan is at the heart of a strategic plan. Ito yung magsaserve na guide sa atin para ma-achieve yung objectives natin. Hindi enough yung strategies lang kasi kailangan natin yung more specific which is itong action plan. And itong action plan naman is based naman talaga sa ating strategy. Kung walang action plan, hindi natin may implement ng maayos yung strategies natin. The key aspects of the intervention or changes to be sought are outlined in the action plan. For example, sa isang program na ang mission is to increase yung youth interest in politics. One of the strategies na maaaring gawin is to teach students about electoral systems. So, some of the action steps na maaari nilang gawin is to develop age-appropriate materials for students or pwede ring to hold mock elections for candidates in local schools or to include some teaching time in the curriculum. So sa pamamagitan nito mga action steps na to, makakatulong to para ma-increase yung youth interest in politics, which is yung in-aim nila. An action plan should be specific, measurable, achievable, and of course, dapat realistic and time-bound. So, kailangan nating mag-set ng time sa ating action plan para yun yung magsaserve na guide sa atin para malaman kung ano yung dapat nating ma-achieve within a given time. And syempre, dapat realistic or feasible yung ating action plan. So, dapat kaya talaga nating i-implement. There are 7 steps to create an action plan for a business strategy. First is to involve the team early on. The team's participation will make or break the action plan. Kailangan involve sila yung team natin from the very start pa lang sa pagdevelop ng action plan and other elements of the strategic plan kasi hindi naman kaya ng owner itself yun. Aside from that, there's a high risk of failure kapag sinolo ng owner yung paggawa at hindi in-involve yung team or employees. Managers involved in strategic planning should brainstorm with the team about projects and specific steps na dapat nilang include sa action at kung paano nila i-implement yun. Siyempre maganda na involve natin yung team para makapag-generate tayo ng maraming ideas kung ano yung mga possible strategies na pwede nating implement kasi hindi naman lahat ng strategies may isip ng owner. So, may mga strategies na pwedeng manggaling sa mga employees kaya mahalaga na involved sila. So, through that, makakapag-come up tayo, makalilist down natin yung mga possible strategies na pwede nating gawin or i-implement. Then, the next one is to list concrete details for each action. After nating ma-filter yung mga action na gagawin natin, syempre kailangan nating specify yung mga important details about the action. Merong mga actions na simple one o projects lang kagaya ng pag-hire ng bagong employee. Meron ding repeatable actions like yung pag-initiate ng monthly reviews of actual and estimated costs. And meron din namang yung for larger projects like kagaya ng pag-convert ng website into an e-commerce site. Then, the third one is to include a timeline. So, itong timeline is mahalaga kasi ito yung magsaserve as guide sa atin kung ano yung dapat nating ma-accomplish within a given time. So, an action plan generally cover 12 months. For each initiative, kailangan nating mag-include ng column for each month para dito natin ilalagay kung ano yung dapat nating ma-accomplish within a given period or time or month. Then next is to designate resources. So maraming action plan yung nagpe-fail dahil hindi nila maayos na na-allocate yung resources nila including yung human and financial resources. Kaya syempre mahalaga na maglaan tayo ng enough time, support, training, and budget para sa mga gagawin or strategies na i-implement natin. Then the fifth one is to establish a follow-up and measurement process. The action plan should specify measures to track implementation. This can be milestones kagaya ng completion of a task or pwede rin quantifiable measures such as revenue, margin, or market share. Kailangan din natin mag-decide kung paano natin ipa-follow up yung action plan para ma-ensure na magagawa natin yung action steps natin sa ating action plan. These include internal reporting and regular meeting to discuss the progress. Meetings are often held monthly with a deeper review each month. So, through meeting, makakatulong to para ma-discuss or pag-usapan yung progress ng ating activity or nung in-implement natin na strategy. Then, the sixth one is to communicate the plan. We need to make sure that the employees are aware of the action plan at alam nila yung role nila. So, mahalagang malaman ng employees yung action plan para magawa nila ng maayos yung mga responsibilities nila. And the last one is to keep the action plan alive. Discussing the action plan regularly is a good way to keep our strategic plan alive. Pwede ring humingi tayo ng feedback sa team natin para malaman kung ano yung mga concern nila about sa plan or kung ano yung mga possible changes na maaaring gawin para sa betterment ng ating mga activities. So, that's the 7 steps to create an action plan according to Paul. The action plan should be clear on employees' responsibilities for each initiative and this can take the form of RASI matrix, which stands for responsible, accountable, support, consulted, and informed. So for responsible, these are people who needs to make sure that project will reach its completion. For accountable naman, these are for people who has the ultimate control over the project and its resources. So, there are times na yung responsible and accountable ay iisa lang, especially sa mga small businesses or company. Then, yung support naman are those who will provide help for the responsible member to serve as support. And consulted naman are those who will give advice to the responsible member. Ito yung kailangang i-consult natin during execution. Then, the last one is informed. These are those people who needs to be kept in the loop at the every stage of the activity. Ito yung tao na kailangan nating i-inform about the progress or decisions like yung mga senior managers or yung head ng affected area or department. So, ito yung example ng paggamit ng RASI matrix. So, there are project activities or deliverables listed. Planning and analytics, designing and prototyping, coding, testing and review, deployment and maintenance. So, meron dyang 6 project activity. Project manager are all accountable for that while the tester is responsible in terms of testing and review. Then, he needs to be consulted in terms of coding and serves as a support in deployment. Then, sa analyst naman, responsible to for planning and analytics, needs to be consulted in terms of designing or prototyping and serves as a support in testing and review and deployment. Then, sa product development naman, responsible to in coding, needs to be consulted in planning and analytics and designing and prototyping as well as a deployment and serves as a support in maintenance. Then, sa service team naman, or yung last, is responsible sa deployment and maintenance and needs to be consulted in planning and analytics and designing or prototyping. So, mahalaga tong RASI matrix or makakatulong tong RASI matrix para malaman natin kung sino-sino yung mga tao na dapat nating i-consult or para malaman kung sino yung responsible in every activity. Action plans are developed for each component of the intervention. This changes to be sought and this includes action steps or ito yung mga specific action na dapat gawin, person responsible who will do what, date to be completed or yung timing ng ating action steps, resources required, yung mga resources and support, included na dyan yung available na resources natin and syempre kasama rin dyan yung mga unavailable pero kailangan natin sa ating project. Then, barriers or resistance and the plan to overcome them. And the last one is yung collaborators or yung other people na dapat makaalam sa plan. So, ito yung example. Nakalist naman dyan yung action step, person responsible, date to be completed, resources required, potential barriers or resistance, and collaborators. So, there are 2 action steps. First is to draft a social marketing plan. So, the person responsible for that is Dimple Labagis from Marketing Department and the date to be completed is on May 2023. And ang resources na required dito sa action step na to is 150,000. And wala silang ina-anticipate na potential barriers or resistance. So, for collaborators naman, is yung members of the business action group. Then, for the second action step naman is to ask local corporations to introduce flex time for parents and mentors. Person responsible is Jana Marie Estrada from Business Action Group and date to be completed is June 2022. So, unlike the first action step, hindi money or pera yung kailangan na resources dito. So, dito is nakalagay ay time, which is 5 hours. 2 hours for proposal, 2 hours for proposal preparation, and 3 hours naman for meeting and transportation. So, unlike din dun sa nauna na walang ina-anticipate na barriers and resistance, dito is meron. So, corporation may see this expensive. So, ano ba yung dapat nilang gawin? So, syempre, kailangan nilang i-convince yung corporation about sa benefit na may hahatid nung gagawin nilang proposal. Anong proposal nila? Then, for collaborators naman, is yung members of the action group and the school action group. So, ito yung mga tao na dapat makaalam about sa plan. So, that's it for my report in strategies and action plan, and sana meron kayong mga natutunan. Thank you!